Mamene Professor Bokpin Endi and Komo. Professor Bokpin, a professor of finance and economics with the University of Ghana Business School. Prof, if you can hear me, good morning and thanks so much for your time with us.
Yes, good morning. Happy New Year and good morning to your cherished listeners.
Happy New Year to you too. I'm glad we're speaking to you this morning.
Thank you.
Very well. So first off, we're going to talk about the economy, and then the finance minister has started on a very good note with some initiatives. Yesterday was the formation of a committee, put together to form the Gold Board to ensure its establishment. Now, we're going to see how best things are going to be put in place, and then how the economy is also going to revive itself. But first off, let's begin with the Gold Board, what happened yesterday, and then take your initial reactions on that.
Well, thank you very much. I think that our economy is...
Kessben.
Our economy... Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Prof.
Yes, our economy is driven significantly by the gold economy or the gold value chain. So, in the last 15 years, gold alone contributed more than 20% to our GDP growth. So, our GDP growth is driven significantly by gold mining and quarrying. Then again, if you look at revenue, tax revenue,
yes,
with the exception of the financial and services sector, financial and insurance, you have mining and quarrying being a leading contributor to our tax revenue. However, even though with all these good stories, job creation from the mining sector has, in the last 15 years, has practically declined. Also because of the deployment of greater technology, which is a substitute for labor. Now, and then again, it has also not contributed to narrowing inequality. Poverty has actually increased. Now, if you look at last year, the first 2 quarters growth last year were also driven significantly by gold. So you will see that in the last 10 years, there is a shift towards more gold production. Gold production, not only in terms of large or industrial gold mining by the multinationals, but again, when you come to the lower end of it, artisanal small-scale mining, and then you can link that to illegal mining. The gold production has increased significantly. Look, when you get to see the data, you'll be amazed. So, this is natural wealth that God has given us. But I can assure you that Ghana and Ghanaians broadly have not benefited optimally from the gold God gave all of us. That's a fact. You know why it is so?
No, I'm listening.
If you pick industrial mining, we have not invested in that area. So it's foreigners who have invested in that area, and they are repatriating their profit and everything away. Then again, when it comes to artisanal small-scale mining, we have not been able to properly regulate that sector. And therefore, there is large unaccounted gold production in that value chain. Artisanal small-scale mining, link that to illegal mining. Our economy today, look, let me tell you, our democracy is financed and sustained significantly by irresponsible mining. It's a fact. They are the ones financing political parties, holding them to ransom. So if you see the surge in irresponsible mining, I'm using the word irresponsible mining to also include illegal mining and even those artisanal small-scale miners who have license and are doing irresponsible mining. Now, this is the real issue we should be concerned about. Because a good number of them are underground. so to speak, they actually don't make full declaration of the gold production to the state. Do you know that? They don't.
Yes, they under declare, what they are getting.
Yes, and what they are producing. So what it means is that the state, on behalf of all of us, is not getting the maximum revenue from the gold production. Okay, let me give you some statistics. Okay?
Yes.
Between 2012 and 2022, over an 11-year period, $115.3 billion. Have you seen $1 billion before? 115 of them were smuggled out of this continent within an 11-year period. Can you imagine?
That's a lot for this economy. Yet we are
150.
the IMF.
Yes. So, and out of this, the continent, Africa, do you know the countries contributing significantly to the gold smuggling in Africa? There are 3 countries contributing significantly to gold smuggling in Africa. Which are those countries? Ghana, your country Ghana, Mali, and Zimbabwe. These 3 countries are fully represented in the gold smuggling in Africa. You know what is happening? Benin. When we mention Benin, does gold production come to mind? No.
Yes.
How about Togo? Does gold production come to mind? No. But today, Benin and Togo are showing up strongly in the database as gold exporting countries. Do you know why? Ghana and Ghanaians with facilitators are smuggling gold through our porous borders through Togo, Benin, and exporting it out of this country.
I'm just looking at the central bank data, and then the central bank has published that in 2024 alone,
it's not reliable.
It's not reliable.
Let me tell you something.
No.
I see where you're coming from. It's not reliable. The central bank data is not representative.
In which context are we putting this?
Because the total gold production is not declared. What is declared and exported through the official channel is what Bank of Ghana records.
Okay.
But if you check other countries, for instance, Bank of Ghana will tell you that we exported gold worth, let's say, $5 billion.
Yes, they are saying that in 2024, total gold exports stood at $11.6 billion. Yes.
Great. But the next question you ask yourself is, which countries were this gold exported to? So you then need to check in the database of those other countries, how much gold did they also say they imported from Ghana? When you compare, you see the difference. Let me tell you something. Let's not kid ourselves. The bulk of the gold smuggling, do you know the country it goes to?
Where?
United Arab Emirates. Check for Bank of Ghana's own data. Do you know that United Arab Emirates today is our largest export destination country?
In terms of gold resources?
No, total export.
Total export, okay.
What is the historical tie between Ghana and United Arab Emirates? For them to be the leading exporting destination, it's simply because of the gold economy. Over 85% of all gold smuggled out of Africa, for which Ghana is heavily represented, are smuggled to United Arab Emirates.
Yes, but one would have thought, a lot of this smuggling, might have landed in China because probably, so to speak, they have their national...
Let me tell you something. United Arab Emirates is a transit.
Kessben.
Did you get what I said?
Yes, I did.
It's a transit. It's a conduit to the rest of the world. That's what is happening. So do you know something?
Yes, I'm listening, Prof.
We are in this country crying that we don't have money. And we are relying extensively on foreign aid and foreign finances. But there's so much that Ghana loses through trade-based invoicing, illicit financial flows. Look, Ghana and Africa as a whole is the only continent where water flows upwards, not downwards.
Prof, but in context, if you listen to the finance minister during the vetting, he gave the assurances that this time around, we don't need to do a lot more of taxing. I mean, we need to find several ways of generating revenue.
We just need to block those holes.
Exactly.
And that is why.
So my question will be that, I mean, coming into place of this gold board, how are we going to secure all these loopholes that we find in our economy?
Precisely. It's not going to be easy. Because those who are in this gold smuggling, aggregators, are politically connected. So the challenge, and you see, we need to recognize the effort being made to address it, and then we see how that effort can be made comprehensive. Okay, so, and it's not only the NDC. Look, check the NPP's manifesto. Let me take you back a bit. 2024 manifesto. Do you know that the NPP in their manifesto stated that they will reduce the final withholding tax on gold export by artisanal small-scale miners from 3% to 1%. And you know the purpose?
No.
To curb smuggling. To curb what? Smuggling. So the NPP that was in power for 8 years presided over the biggest gold smuggling in our history. What was the recommendation of the NDC? The NDC then said that, look, this gold, we are not benefiting optimally from it. Let's set up a gold board, something similar to cocoa board. You know cocoa board?
Yes.
That will be in charge of total gold exports. But we know that with cocoa board, people were still smuggling cocoa to Cote d'Ivoire and the rest, right?
Yes, but that will be on a very minimal side. I mean.
So that is why I'm saying that it's a good proposal. Let's see how we can make it work. Look, let me tell you something. This is not conjecturing, right? We have done empirical work. And you know how much Ghana loses annually?
No.
Through this gold smuggling, it's over $2 billion annually.
While we go into the IMF for $3 billion.
Yes. So that tells you, see, sometimes we behave in this country like we have not gone to school. And the reason you see all these things is that we don't love one another. Greed, selfishness. Because for a morsel of bread, a Ghanaian will sell his birthright and the birthright of the next generation for a morsel of bread. Let me tell you something. If you see the gold smuggling, it's the whites and the others who are benefiting optimally from it, of course, with local facilitators.
Now, with the emphasis placed on smuggling, I mean, something comes to mind. We have issued licenses for gold export. Private individuals have it. I mean, companies do have it. I mean, so how do we track? Because I am told that the PMMC is responsible.
They are not tracking optimally.
To track the assaying of the gold from our shores to its final destination. So why are we unable to do some of these things?
Master, let me tell you something. Let me gossip small. Let me gossip small.
Prof, I'm with you, yes.
Do you know why Bank of Ghana now is into gold buying?
No.
It's about following the money. Because the economy is largely gold. They've seen the data. They've seen the smuggling. Precious minerals is not able to totally account for all the gold export production. So they are in. It's about follow the money. Okay, so what was it? The state, of course, there are powerful individuals behind all of this, even with Bank of Ghana's blessing. But what I'm saying is that there should be a way of nationally accounting for every gold that is produced. Then we can get the revenue optimally and use it for our national development. Look, you know something? Oh, you've been to South Africa before, right?
Yes.
Go to South Africa. See the mining communities. Go to advanced countries. See where gold is mined. See how nice those communities are. Go to Obuasi. Go to Obuasi and see where we've mined gold for years. There's nothing to show for. Nothing to show for.
I see. Now, Prof, wrapping it up on this one, I mean, the finance minister has charged the committee to put together a framework that will see to the establishment of the gold board. What, I mean, must we consider? Because, I mean, you've touched on so many things this morning. So what must really come into the framework whilst we foresee the establishment of the gold board?
There has to be a strong sanctioning regime.
Okay.
For smuggling.
Kessben.
And then also licensing, mining must be properly regulated. So it has to be holistic. And I think that it should not just be the legal framework for the gold board, but we should look at the entire value chain of sustainable mining. So government must have a bigger and general approach to all of this? Because you know something? Because the biggest threat to our country and our future is actually irresponsible mining, which also includes illegal mining. We will be in this country in maximum 5-10 years. A good number of Ghanaians, the only option left for them will be to run away from this country.
Should we get
because there will be no potable water and all of that. Look, let me tell you something. We have behaving like we are not human beings, just destroying our water bodies, our environment, in the name of just getting money, greed.
Prof, now that we have the gold board coming on board, should we get to a point where we say, okay, in the licensing regime for private companies to do the export of gold must be a thing of the past, and then allow the gold board to only do the export of gold so that adequately we can track whichever gold that is leaving the shores of Ghana?
It will depend on the approach they want to adopt. Okay. Within Cocoa Board, there are private licensed buyers who buy on behalf of Cocoa Board. Is that okay?
Yes.
But all of that must be declared to Cocoa Board and all of that. So let's think through and see the approach that works and allows for private participation. But the private participation, we must increase local content so that we take greater ownership in that as well. Okay? So for under the current smuggling and the declaration and all of that, really, I think that we just have to support government efforts in addressing that and making sure that it's comprehensive enough. As I said, the biggest threat to the Gold Board will be their own party financiers who are benefiting optimally from that corruption, that value chain.
Very well. But on Friday, 17 January, I mean, the Daily Graphic published a conversation you had on X Spaces, I mean, indicating that you have said that agric is the backbone of this economy, and definitely that must be used in resetting our economy. Now, the question is that all these years we've been practicing agriculture, and then we've been saying to ourselves that this is the backbone of our economy. But why do we come back again to this conversation? I have read through the stories and then some of the salient points you made in that particular conversation. But what should we do as a country whilst we make the resetting agenda?
We are big talkers in terms of policy and governance, and we are shallow with implementation. That is what has brought us here.
We are just shallow with implementation.
Yes. Do you know something? In 2003, there was a Malipo declaration of spending at least 10% of your expenditure in the area of agriculture. Ghana has not fulfilled its part. So we are not optimally allocating resources to agriculture. And we've left it to peasant farmers. I hope you understand that.
Yes.
With practically no support. And even sometimes the support they said they are giving to peasant farmers, it doesn't get to them on time. Fertilizer input. Do you know that fertilizer, we were smuggling fertilizer to Burkina Faso? You know that,
yes,
right?
I know. I'm very much aware of
fertilizer that should go to farmers so that they can produce. This country is like we are joking. Okay, it's not only just that. It's not just agriculture. Agriculture as a standalone is not what will help us. But I was saying that let's link agriculture to agribusiness and agro-processing. Is that okay? So if you look at that entire value chain, the job creation potential is the highest in this country. So if any decent government wants to really create decent jobs, then you must look at agriculture, link that to agribusiness and agro-processing. The job creation potential, the poverty reduction and inequality reducing effect is very high. Then that is not the only thing. Only inflation, I say, what's for Ghana? Our inflation is driven largely by food inflation. Look, Ghana is one of the most expensive countries to eat from in this world. Ghana.
And that stood around 23.8%
in
as of December 24. Yes.
2024, food inflation was actually 27%. It was the average inflation, which includes food and non-food inflation, that came to 23.8. Okay. But food inflation alone was more than 27%. Can you imagine that you live in a country where over a 12-month period, food prices on the average went up by almost 27%? What can you do in that country? Okay, do you know something?
That is very much on the high. I mean,
yeah, food inflation in Cote d'Ivoire is less than 3%. If you want to go and eat from there this morning, is permissible.
Interesting. Prof, I'll wrap up with you on the 7-member committee put up to ensure, the national economic dialogue happens. What are we to look at, in terms of the dialogue as to how we will reposition this economy?
I think this because of politics of everything, the economy is polarized.
Okay.
Right. We are unable to come to terms as to where exactly we are, our debt position and all of that. So I was looking at it that to govern, even though the NDC won the election, we are talking about over 30% of Ghanaians who didn't vote for the party that won. Mm-hmm. You need to carry everybody along. So what has been lacking is the fact that we've not been able to build consensus along where we are, where we want to get to, and how do we get there. One of the things that people asked for severally under the previous administration was some kind of a national forum, even on our debt restructuring. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
The IMF even recommended it. You needed to do that to carry the people along, because at the center of policy prescription is the people. Okay, so build consensus. So that is why I'm saying that it's a good starting point, that we want to build consensus on where we are and where we want to get to. And the next important question will be, how do we get there? What should be the price and what should be the reward and all of that. But remember that in this country, we have had one too many of this. Do you know that?
Yes, I remember the Senchi Forum.
Yes. Even apart from that, we've had several of these. And what the forum will come out at the end will be recommendations, strategies, and amebwa.
Yes.
But strategies alone don't deliver results unless they are implemented. So the onus is on the government to embrace the recommendations and implement them effectively and efficiently. So we haven't had problems about strategy. And look, Ghana's development is in the library. Ghana's development is in the shelves. You know why? Because our strategies and everything well crafted are not implemented. They are sitting in the shelves, in the libraries, gathering dust. So our development is actually in the library. That's where you can find it. It's not out there. And the reason why the development is in the literature and the library and not reflecting in your pocket and your standard of living is because of lack of implementation. Have you observed what is happening in the U.S.?
In terms of?
Donald Trump.
Yes, he's taking certain radical, action in terms of
that is what we call, you may not like him, but that is what we call leadership. On his first day in office, you see the number of orders?
Yes.
Okay, do you know that our president up to now has not put his own complete team together?
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you something. Donald Trump, he said we're going to solve the immigration border issue. Do you know what he did? He declared state of emergency. You know that? Mm-hmm. Do you know the number of times Ghanaians called on the former president to declare state of emergency on illegal mining? He didn't do it. Do you know that this president, since he came, it's been a couple of weeks, right?
What have they done? It's only 3 weeks today.
Yes. What have they done about irresponsible mining, which causes existential threat? Nothing. This is the difference between Africa and the rest of the world. It comes down to leadership. You know why? Fish rot from the head.
Very well. Prof, I'm highly grateful for your time this morning. Thanks for talking to us.
God bless you.
We hope to do this more often. I'm grateful. And to Professor Bokpin, Professor of Finance with the University of Ghana Business School.